Hello, I have a question for everyone. Who was the 14th president of the United States? Now don't cheat, don't use your cell phones, and don't look it up. More than likely, if you're not some kind of history buff, or just love United States presidents' history, you wouldn't know who that was. The answer is Franklin Pierce. Now imagine if that information was some information that you needed for school or for work, and you couldn't use your phone or any type of computer. You didn't have any internet access. How would that affect you? It'd be like living in the past while everyone else was living in the present. It would feel like they were living in the future. The internet is not available in all places equally and at equal speeds. It affects education and it has different remedies. Today we'll look at the types, amounts, speeds, and solution to high-speed internet problem outside of urban areas. We'll take a look right now at the options for internet in rural areas. So the first option is satellite internet. Satellite internet has poor latency. So that means that with satellite internet, you cannot game or you cannot use VoIP, voice over IP services. According to satelliteinternet.com, the average cost of satellite internet is about $100 for 25 megabytes per second. Maximum speeds at or about 150 megabytes per second compared to 2 gigabytes per second in urban areas. Next is hotspot mobile internet. According to Whistleout, it's priced at higher rates than fiber or optic home internet. This type of internet has very low data limits and it's hard to use for more than minimal things. So if you want to do anything other than check your email or maybe check the news, it's going to be difficult to have mobile hotspot internet. Then we move to fixed wireless internet. It's the slowest option of all that usually caps out at around 50 megabytes per second. It's less expensive than satellite internet, but data caps make it expensive. So I know about fixed wireless internet because I live in a rural area and I have it. It is very, very difficult to live with. There are different types of internet available in rural and tribal areas. But what speeds are available and how much of each area? So deployment of high-speed internet varies depending on the area a person lives in. So according to the FCC 2019 broadband report, urban areas, 98.3% of urban areas have 25 megabyte per second speed, and 95.8 have 100 megabyte per second speed. Let's compare that to rural areas that only have 75% available for 25 megabyte per second speed, and only 58.6% of rural areas have access to 100 megabyte per second speed. Now moving to tribal areas only have 67.9% availability of only 25 megabytes per second. And barely 54.7% of tribal areas have access to 100 megabytes per second speed. Now that you know the different speeds in different areas, let's see what effects those speeds and access has on education. So when it comes to education, higher speeds give higher grades on tests and in school. So students with high-speed internet are linked to having higher grades in school. Also, students with high-speed internet have better digital skills, which lead to higher SAT scores. Higher education also becomes a factor when we talk about high-speed internet. Students without high-speed internet are less likely to plan to attend college or university. Students with high-speed internet access are more likely to have higher digital skills overall. So we can see that having higher internet speed is vital to give students an equal chance. How do we get that to them? Some solutions for bringing high-speed internet to rural areas are infrastructure investment. So according to Brookings, the government investment via Better CARES Act would be a great step towards high-speed internet in rural and tribal areas. So the CARES Act gave money for broadband in rural areas, but it did not give money to upgrade infrastructure that's already out there. Money needs to go to the broadband companies directly in rural areas rather than telephone companies, because right now the money is going to telephone companies, and the telephone companies aren't equipped to upgrade and serve rural and tribal areas with high-speed internet. Another form is government intervention. So government intervention, one way is we can update the definition of high-speed internet. According to speedmatters.org, the definition of high-speed internet right now is 25 megabytes per second. That's already outdated, and it's not fast enough because of technology and how everything moves, especially in a pandemic where there's many people at home doing different things using the internet. Another thing is to legislate to remove data caps. So data caps right now are one of the things that we talked about in all these different varieties of internet types that slow down and cause slow internet. So removing those would help that solution. Also, the Broadband Data Act needs to be updated. So according to Congress.gov, broadband data is collected and reported in accordance with the Broadband Data Act. That needs to get upgraded and shown into the future so it can properly gauge how much broadband internet is available. There are solutions to the problems facing people in rural and tribal areas. We know the issues and we can solve them. The options for internet are limited in rural and tribal areas. The deployment of high-speed internet vastly differs from rural, tribal, and urban areas. The lack of high-speed internet affects test scores for students. You can contact your legislators and ask for action to get the entire United States on the same playing field. So everyone can find out who the 14th president of the United States without having to have an entire encyclopedia.